Hello everyone, welcome back. Good evening. Today is Sunday and we've got good stuff to talk about for our show tonight. Hope you're excited. Bitcoin's current price is 88,430. Not too much of movement today either. Rather, not too much of a volatile Sunday, which is fine. I really don't know what to expect for this week, whether things will go up or down. Some people are saying it's volatile. I don't think it will be. I think it's just going to be dead, especially considering the fact that we've got some holidays coming up soon. It's Christmas on Thursday. So, and then obviously Christmas Eve before that. I don't think we're going to get a lot of volatility this week. And, well, what do I think about that? Couple things. Well, 91,000 for Bitcoin is an important resistance for it. Downtrend invalidates, resistance level from pivots. We have new pivot levels, by the way. That's on that level. And Fibonacci level at 91,000 is also there. Very, very important level for Bitcoin. The current pivot level that we're using as support is 87,786. Who cares about that? It's easily breakable. What I'm more concerned about is the support levels, which it's showing would be 85,000 for Bitcoin, which I don't mind. I'm fine with 85,000 as a support for Bitcoin. First of all, it will mean that my whatever position I have, whatever excuse of a position that I have would get invalidated and removed from there, which is fine. And let me just hold on. 83,000, I don't think. Yeah, right now, odd. We're no longer concerning ourselves with 83,000. We're now looking at 82,000 potentially, if the 85 does get broken and we do drop below for whatever reason. I really don't think this is going to happen. I think this is going to be a boring week. We're going to be still, I don't expect this to break out above 91,000. Let's just say that portion of it. Yeah, we can drop lower. If so, good, because good area for accumulation before we start the next year. Actually, no, I don't even know. Would that really be good? Just give us a pump on December 31st, please. We want Bitcoin at 93,000 by December 31st, right? We want the year to end in the green, even if it's 0% in the green, 0.1%, I don't know. For that, we got to expect Bitcoin at about 93,000, which from pivot levels is looking like 93,718. Imagine if that is the level that it approaches. Would be optimal, of course, if Bitcoin ends the year in the green. I'm really starting to think it won't, although it's not really that far up. I don't think we could lose hope. It's only a 6.5% rise, 6 or 7%, so we should be fine. Awkward pause. Okay, and then obviously breaking 82,000 would just take us down to 80,000 itself. Rounding all of these levels together. All right. Downtrend is still a thing for Bitcoin, so that's why I'm not expecting this thing to rise as much. We would need some really good fundamentals to come out, and I mean, we're really not going to get anything too crazy. Yeah, we're getting some economic data until the end of the year, but I don't think it's going to move the price a lot, so to speak. We're just going to have to wait and see where fate takes us. If this manually starts rising because people start buying once again, if we do get a Santa rally or whatever you want to call it, sure, so be it. But honestly, I don't see what's going to impulse the price to move forward. Fundamentals are still great. Bears also have a really good interpretation of the market right now. Their analysis seems to be correct. The indicators are in their favor. So what do we even do here? This is like stagflation when it comes to crypto specifically. It's not necessarily that having to do with inflation, but just the price staggering. We've got so much good fundamentals, but nobody likes it. The demand is down. We're going to be discussing that actually. The demand on Bitcoin. What other people are talking about for Bitcoin? We have a lot of comments. I have a little feud between Grant Cardone and Peter Schiff. Him taking the bite on all of his posts, which is pretty funny. We'll discuss that. What else do we got? A response from the Department of Justice on Jeffrey Epstein and the files that they've released so far, which we did cover extensively on Friday. A bit underwhelming, but hey, we still got some stuff. Very incriminating for Bill Clinton, but that was about it. A lot of stuff about Trump, I'm hearing, got either redacted, removed, or edited, deleted, whatever the case is. So, not good. We need transparency. Even if Trump is in those files, we gotta know. It's probably he will be on those files. Did he do anything incriminating though? I don't want to believe that. I don't think he did, but only time will tell. They're obviously not going to say, yes, Trump did this thing to a bunch of women. Then he would just get kicked out of the presidency. Maybe. Would he? What would Jesus do? So, moving on. After that, we will also be talking about global M2 money supply. Just a little update on it. I have talked about it, how it's been rising extensively, and Bitcoin has severely decoupled from the M2 money supply. It was following it pretty perfectly with approximately, was it an 80-90 day delay? It was still pretty good until after we hit our all-time high. Then things started decoupling. M2 money supply kept on rising and Bitcoin kept on dropping. People were like, oh, it'll catch up. No, it didn't. It just kept, Bitcoin's price kept dropping. Here we are at 88,000 and M2 money supply is just still on the rise. At this rate though, Bitcoin's price should be at 250,000 or something like that if we were to actually follow the M2 money supply. At least that's what I see on some people's charts. Everybody's charts are different when it comes to M2 money supply. And it's not an obvious like, yes, we will follow this 100% of the time, because there have been times where it has decoupled. And I mean, if it does follow it exactly, then you're predicting the price of crypto, and that's just never going to work. You're never going to be able to predict the price of crypto. The best we can do is just probabilities, and that's what I try to do at the channel. I give my opinion on the market so that you guys can maybe bash me in the comments or do whatever you want to do with it. I don't mind. So that's all I have to say about that. What is wrong with my keyboard? I'm noticing a lot of flashing lights. My keyboard lights up, but you know what? Forget it. My keyboard lights up. It's got this red fade in, fade out kind of back color to it, which I like because my whole setup is technically red. I like the black and red aesthetic. My PC is a black box with red lights, and the fans are also colored red. My mouse is a black mouse with red lights fading in and fading out, and same thing with my keyboard. It's all perfect. And then my monitor also is a black monitor with red letters. Kurui is the name of the company. I don't know what that stands for or what it means. What else is red? My chair. My chair is black and red. When I get a webcam going on here, which will also be black and red, you guys will be able to see everything that I'm talking about. I even have the option to change the LED colors of the lights in my room, and there was a period of time where I had it in red, which was awesome because people would walk into my room, my family, and they'd be like, ugh, this color scheme is disgusting. I can't even look inside this room. And I would admit, it felt weird. Like, I wave my hand around in front of my face, and it looks like I'm moving in 30 FPS. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean, but like changing the room color, it's very interesting. But yeah, I liked it. It felt easier on my eyes. A bit of a, relaxing from all the white light or the blue light that you get exposed to. You do typically want to have warm lighting, right? So, I mean, most of my house does have warm lighting either way, like yellow, orange type lights. Not orange, but, warm lighting. So, yeah, that's what we're used to, because I was reading some analysis on it. I'm getting way off topic, by the way, but I want to get this out of the way first. Where our primitive minds, back in the good old caveman days, we would use fire for light, and fire is orange or yellow, whatever. So that's the kind of light that we are accustomed to. We're not accustomed to this unnatural blue light, this white light that you see on the streets now that is all over the highways. It's all white lights. It's no longer in the old days, like not even that far back. Let's go to the 90s or the 80s, I think, where the street lights were kind of orange, right? So, just little stuff like that. Interesting. What are they trying to do? They're trying to poison our eyeballs so that we don't see. You will own nothing and be happy kind of deal. I don't know. I'm getting too philosophical. That's all. That's all for that. Enough ranting. Let's go ahead and get into the price action. That's what you guys are here for. But yeah, Ethereum is trying to. It was above 3,000. We're still on a downtrend for it though, so don't get your hopes up. And I drew this here with no specific area in mind, so just keep this in mind. I was saying that, yeah, we could poke above this, but we should stay below the 3,100 level, which would keep us in a downtrend. Essentially, that is what happened. We hit a high today of 3,060, let's call that. And we've now backed down to 2,995 is the current price. Trying to... Huge rejection from the 3,000. Did this candle close above it? It kind of did, 3,011. Okay, but we're still on a downtrend for Ethereum nonetheless. Pivot levels... Resistance is at 3,200. I'd first focus on 3,100 breaking the downtrend, and then ignore this. This is basically 3,000. Support level, you're looking at 2,800. I like those. I like those levels. Hopefully, if we do approach that, we kind of do what happened before, which followed price action pretty perfectly. This was from fears of Bank of Japan, which that was all just a big nothing burger, wasn't it? We all got scared because, yeah, oh no, Bank of Japan is gonna hike rates. Borrowing money is going to be super expensive. How will I ever financially recover from this? You literally did in the next 2 minutes after it was announced. So, yep, everything is back to normal. Don't got to worry about Bank of Japan. We've figured, yeah, 0.75%. That's pretty cheap to borrow money at, so we're fine with it. We are still going to borrow against, you know, the dollar. No, borrow against yens to get dollars to buy equities and stocks and crypto. So that's what people were hoping for. And yeah, it was majority of it was already priced in because we've been talking about it extensively. So everybody watches my show and we all mutually agreed that this is all just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So we essentially started buying again, which is great. Now we're just flatlining over here. What will the next week bring us? I don't know. We are getting some economic data, which we will also be discussing. And I don't think it's going to impact things too much, like I said, but it will point us in the right direction, at least, or the wrong direction. Solana is still in its downtrend. I can't give you a clear one, but nonetheless, Supertrend tells me it invalidates at 132. Current price is 124 for Solana. Beautiful bounce. We're using that same support. Please stop teasing me like that. $116.70 is the support level. I'm liquidated at 116 and where? 116.46. Well, that is rising. You can thank the funding fees for that. Look at this funding rate. That's not even that bad. But it's still, you know, hurting me. Whatever. I still have my Zcash short opened, my Bitcoin long opened. All of these are still heavily in the loss. I don't think I will touch them still. I'm leaving them there. Go for it, liquidate it, or just start rising already. It's just like stuck there, accumulating fees. Sure. Zcash, it's just so annoying. I'm shorting and I have to pay fees because the funding rate is negative. Whatever, dude. Current price of Zcash is 447. Still in its downtrend. So I think I'm still on the right for shorting this, wherever our high point is. I'm hoping we don't hit above the 450 level because then we'd approach my stop loss, which is at 465, right? It also wouldn't mean the invalidation of this downtrend, anything above 461, 462. So I have my average price at 448, I think. Can I check? I could just scroll down, dude. 447, that's where my average entry is. It's not even correct then. Let me just adjust this. Entry price is oh, it's 448.63. It was correct. Kind of. Yeah, so we're kind of right at that neutral point right now. We were very much making gains earlier today. It was about $50, which means this was like a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. I could have closed it there, but I decided not to. I'm just going to be ambitious with it because we're still on a downtrend, and if we are going to break this downtrend and head higher, then, you know, we can hopefully see the rest of these go higher, and I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind losing the $50 if that means everything else goes higher. I'd rather make, what is this, 227 and lose thousands more if things keep dropping. Cynical. But I guess this is what I get. As soon as I took a screenshot of this and I posted it on Discord. I'm like, hey guys, check this out. Check out this banger short I'm making money on. And then immediately, karma, things reverse and start like rising against me because I'm shorting. And now here we are. Whatever. Bitcoin is dropping? Question mark. What did I just see? My phone gave me a notification saying that Bitcoin is below 88,000. That is a lie. We're still at 88,200. You're fine. SUI is still in its downtrend. $1.44. Not big movement today. Our highest was 148. It's nothing too special. Support level is at 131. Basically this low point from that we have seen a couple times now. The day Bank of Japan was going to hike rates. The night Bank of Japan was going to hike rates. We saw us approach this level, but not necessarily hit it. Our lowest there was about 132. We're mainly looking at 130 to 131. That's where our support level is for now. So in a worst case scenario for SUI, I'm confident that we will approach this area, bounce off of it, and head higher to hopefully break whatever curse of a downtrend this is. That being said, pivot level 145 and resistance, the first one after breaking 155 currently, that's what shows the downtrend and validation. Breaking that would take us to 160. 160 is going to be your resistance I would look at. Good. Hyperliquid. It says it's up 3%, almost 4%, but really, do you even call this up? We're still really far down. The downtrend is still a thing. It validates at 2760. Support level, worst case scenario, it looks like we might make a lower bottom. $21.50 is that support level. I don't like that. And if that does happen, might buy, might, hard might, maybe on spot. No, I think I'll 3x leverage on this, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do. I don't know. I'm nervous now. I'm scared to do leverage. Remember what happened October 10? Left us all traumatized. Well, clearly not everyone, because there's still people throwing 100x's because they don't care. But even me, with as conservative as I was trying to be with 3x leverage on almost everything, yeah, I got wiped up pretty hard. The one moment I decided to go 5x on something that doesn't go hard, like Bitcoin, then we start dropping to 80,000. So it's like, perfect, beautiful. Stop hunted me. And now I'm out. But that's fine. We can recover. We know how to. Moving on. Chainlink. Have a bit of news on Chainlink, which we will get into. Current price is $12.40. Expecting a lower low, 11.53 as the support level. I don't like that. Downtrend invalidates at 13.28. Resistance would be 13.52, sorry. I don't know. I'm still looking at this larger downtrend as the most important one. Because whatever we see here, I don't think is... Or maybe it would be. Hold on. It's very short term, though. So easily breakable, potentially. I don't... No, I want to pay attention to that. The downtrends are weird, meaning that we can probably see, you know, price kind of flatline or do its thing, which is kind of what I'm expecting either way for this week until, you know, we try to approach this level. Whether we reject or continue higher, that's up to the crypto gods to decide, but yeah, we're going to need some more time, basically. Not just for Chainlink, but for a lot of other ones that I just analyzed. Not for BitTensor, though. BitTensor might have something different coming out. 240 seems to be the most important level for it. 240 to 245 approximately, this zone. Very volatile coin, by the way, so we are basically bottomed out over here, hopefully. Yeah, because that's where the invalidation of the downtrend would happen. Even the downtrend line that we see, the pivot level is there. It's going to be important resistance, so we're going to wait to see what happens, how it behaves at 240 plus. Breaking that, if we are not overbought yet, could easily take us higher for BitTensor to the 268 level, which would be great. If not, if this downtrend continues or if we bounce lower from whatever high we can get over here approaching 240, that should take us down to sub 200 at 194. Sure, go for it, dude. Halving, what halving? Didn't exist. Aptos was a great opportunity for shorting. I guess I missed it, whatever. But we are flatlining at this resistance, so I wouldn't really bet against it at this point. It seems like every time it's a bottom, but we just keep going lower. This time, though, might be something different. Hopefully, support level is at 142. Doesn't expect things to drop lower than that. I hope not. From the local bottom at 141. So that resistance is about 170. Most important level for Aptos. We're currently averaging between those two. Current price is 156. I like what I'm seeing with Aptos. A good setup over here. I'm late on the short. I don't think I will, though. Even right here, I'm not going to touch it. Just leave it there. I would expect this to rise during the week, hopefully to 170, and we'll see how it behaves here. I don't even know if we would be able to have enough strength to rise higher. It is also a volatile coin, but what do we do with Aptos? Anyways, breaking 170 would take us immediately to 184. Hopefully, depending on RSI momentum levels, things like that. So, need more time just to see how it behaves. That's all I really have to say for the coins we normally look at. Yeah, Bitcoin is fine. We're staying above 88,000. So let's get into the news. First things first. Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice gave their response on the whole Epstein stuff, backing what they've done so far. First of all, Pam Bondi says the Department of Justice previously stated that we will bring charges against anyone involved in the trafficking and exploitation of the Jeffrey Epstein victims. First of all, yes, because that is what Thomas Massie Rokana's bill was passed for, is like, you're going to release these files and you're going to arrest anyone implicated. So she's just reaffirming the commitment. Ask any victim to please come forward with any information pertaining to any individuals who engaged in illicit activity at their expense. We have met with many victims and victim groups. We will continue to do so if more reach out. Don't care. Community notes. Everything is community noted, so we're going to go through those as well because this is like fact checking over here that's going on. The Epstein files released by the Department of Justice are full of redactions and deleted pages, one thing that we covered on Friday. Photos of figures linked to Epstein, including Donald Trump, were removed from the website, the official website, to protect him. Besides Bill Clinton and other politicians, they show selectivity. Because it's true, we saw so much about Bill Clinton. Pretty odd. What about Donald Trump? Oh, there is nothing there, and if there was, it got deleted. Or redacted, or whatever. So, what are we really doing here? Anyways, Todd Blanche says, yeah, this is our position, and another community note on that. In July 2025, the Department of Justice stated in a memo, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties, which is true. They did say this in July when the whole beginning of the Epstein scandal began. The memo also stated that the Department of Justice opposed releasing more records, saying no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is until, of course, Thomas Massie Rokana worked together to get this current bill that we see right now being passed, forced out, give us all the Epstein files or gay. I think that's what they did. Rokana commented on it, said, yep, Thomas Massie and I announced that we are bringing inherent contempt against Bondi. DOJ cowers and re-releases the 119-page document, now with minimal redactions. Massie and I are different. We do not just do memes or speeches. We take action to fight against a corrupt system. Because this is a post that came out from the Department of Justice. 119-page grand jury document entirely redacted. That's crazy. They say here, okay, sorry about that redacting of the whole thing, which we did look at, by the way. The whole thing was redacted. It was all just black. Like, why even release that? But whatever. Here's a document now with minimal redactions. Documents and photos will continue to be reviewed, consistent with the law and with an abundance of caution for victims and their families. So they re-released that whole joke of a page where it was all redacted, now with minimal redactions. Let's go ahead and review that live just to see what exactly got unredacted. Okay, so they now have other stuff. Guillen Maxwell. Okay. I studied for this, by the way, at one point in my life, very recently. The whole transcripting for court documents. You have to use this like specific format of typing it. You're basically writing a transcript of audio, which takes a very long time. I realized the pay wasn't good for it, so I decided not to pursue it. So if my hiring managers are watching this, you suck. Pay us more. That's all. I'm not reading all this, but cool. They finally released minimal redactions over here. Because this whole thing was blacked out last time we checked. It might have been a different document because there were so many, but one of them was obviously like this. It was just everything blacked out. It's like, dude, is this a joke or what? Department of Justice is only allowed to redact the victims' names. This reduced redaction version still redacts the names and initials of non-victim persons, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see. Who are the criminals on here? You can blur out the victim names, but not the people who did the bad stuff, you know? So that's what they had to say about that. Moving on from this, they also came out with this fact sheet about the Epstein files release. They said that the Trump administration is continuing its unprecedented support for Epstein transparency after the Biden administration declined to make any files public. The first Trump administration was prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein for heinous crimes at the time of his death. The Obama administration declined to investigate Epstein. Interesting. So Democrats ignored it, and Republicans seems to be the one that are actually trying to do something about it, which is a good look, I guess, for Republicans, not so much for Democrats. But I don't know. Seems like everyone, Republican or Democrat, is guilty in this whole Epstein thing. Why is this material being released now? Prior to President Trump's enactment of the Epstein Transparency Act, various judges had declined the Trump Department of Justice's requests to unseal Epstein-related material. The enactment of the new law gave the judges a legal predicate they found sufficient for granting the Trump administration's standing request before the courts to unseal the files. How much more material can we expect to be released? The DOJ has hundreds of thousands of pages of material to release. It's on Pam Bondi's desk, by the way, including material that must comply with court orders. I'm not reading the rest of that. What is being redacted? We're only redacting what is legally required. Identifying information about victims, minors, potential victims, as well as privileged material. So yeah, basically what we read in the community note there. No redactions for famous individuals or politically exposed persons. Which that minimal redactions re-release that we just got seems to still redact the important people, the famous people, politically exposed people. Some of them maybe even Trump. We don't even know. Why have some photos been released and then removed? As it's released, the Department of Justice has received incoming from individuals alleging to be victims and their lawyers requesting that certain information be removed. So I guess people's lawyers contact the Department of Justice like, hey, we don't want that. So they have to go back and remove it to follow with legal compliance. Sure, dude. Okay. So that's all for it. We'll put the subject to rest. Honestly, not a lot has happened this week. I mean, this weekend. We actually have less news today than compared to yesterday. Somehow yesterday on a Saturday, I figured out more stuff to talk about. Today, not so much, but still, we'll still go through it. We have another oil tanker that got... What do you call it? The U.S. targets a third oil tanker. So obviously Maduro is mad. We're just seizing, that's what it is, the Venezuelan oil tankers so far. It's the third one so far. We also have Elon Musk meeting with a United Arab Emirates president to discuss advanced technology and artificial intelligence. My brother in Christ, what are you wearing? Is this a suit with a scarf and a collared shirt? What is this fashion trend now? Back in my days, we would wear ties. We still do. I was wearing a tie last week. Alright, now to the beef between Grant Cardone and Peter Schiff. We love it. Peter Schiff just loves to hate on anyone that talks positively about Bitcoin. This time his victim, Grant Cardone. Grant says America should have the lowest interest rates in the world. Trump will fix it. It makes no sense the wealthiest country with a dominant currency has interest rates higher than 34 other countries. So we're talking about interest rates here, and then we'll get into the Bitcoin stuff. Peter Schiff replies, says, well, actually, the opposite is true. With the highest debt and lowest savings rate, we should have relatively high interest rates. This is coming as the dollar loses its reserve status. Sure, I guess that does kind of make sense, and it's a good counter argument to what Grant Cardone has been saying. Because if you just pay attention to what Trump has been saying, like, oh yeah, like compared to every other countries, they're all reducing their interest rates. Why aren't we doing the thing? Well, it is true that we do have the highest debt ever and the lowest savings rate. I don't know if this is true, but I'm willing to believe that. Because not a lot of people are saving up, honestly. So yeah, high interest rates, I guess. That's what explains it. But there's other economic data and stuff like that we are supposed to pay attention to when it comes to inflation, jobs, economic growth, that kind of stuff. That should definitely play a role in deciding whether or not we get rate cuts. We talked about the poll that was put out by Grant Cardone about would you rather, out of these three assets, which one would you rather hold until 2028? Bitcoin, gold, or silver? And it was a 69%. Everybody wanted Bitcoin over gold and silver, which we looked at yesterday. Today, Peter Schiff is like, well, that's a bunch of bunk because this guy, Grant Cardone, he's a Bitcoiner and all his followers are Bitcoiners. I'm a pro-gold guy, says Peter Schiff. I'm going to re-release the same poll without your biased audience, just to see what people would say. And I bet everybody's going to pick gold. Well, he said this. He ran this poll to Bitcoiner Grant Cardone. 69% of 5,553 voters chose Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin win again? So he reposted the same question. And compared to the 5,000 votes that Grant got, Peter Schiff got 23,000 votes. So that's so much more. 5,000 to 23,000. There's still 13 hours left in the poll. You can go ahead and vote and prove me wrong. But Bitcoin is still in the lead as of right now. Almost 60% of people are still willing to buy Bitcoin to hold for 2 years? It's been, 3 years. 3 years for 2028, December 19, compared to gold or silver. Even his own follower base would rather hold Bitcoin over gold and silver for the next 3 years, which is impressive. I like the faith that people are having in this. Grant Cardone replied and said, I'm not a Bitcoiner. I'm actually a real estate investor with $5.3 billion assets under management. I'm not a Bitcoiner. I added Bitcoin to our investments to create a new asset class, providing investors with exposures to both. I would never add silver or gold because they're just more like real estate, except they're more abundant. That's what he said. Peter Schiff replied and said, I know you're mainly a real estate investor. I included that initially, but it's way too many characters. Ah, classic, the 240 character excuse on Twitter. He says, I don't see the value of including Bitcoin in your offerings when investors can easily buy Bitcoin on their own if they want to. By the way, blue check mark. I'm sure you should have more space to type. Sure, dude. Yeah, so that's his little counter argument. But clearly, I mean, he got mogged. Crazy. People would still rather buy Bitcoin. But to be fair, credit where it is due, he did repost this to his audience again, Grant Cardone, saying, Peter wants you to vote on this poll, which obviously people are going to go click on this and re-vote for Bitcoin. But keep in mind, it was only 5,000 voters compared to 23,000 that he currently has. So this one is blown up more and people are still willing to bet on Bitcoin. So that's good. Good overall. Oh yeah, and I commented this, by the way. Aha, nerd. Because he thought he's going to win. He thought he was going to get gold to beat Bitcoin in this poll. It's like, no, dude. We're clearly going to buy Bitcoin over gold or silver for the next 3 years if you're expecting to get the greatest rate of return. Especially now that gold is at an all-time high. Bitcoin is at a close to yearly lows. Our actual yearly low was 74K. We're 88,000. Not too far off. Wish we don't have to go back down there. I don't think we will. Maybe in 2026 in a very worst case scenario, like if we start bombing Iran again or something. Maybe. Or, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I was actually looking into the... Should I talk about this now? I was looking into the Supreme Court decision with the Trump tariff ruling and all of that. And I was asking Grok about it because I was like, just give me the straight up answers, okay? And it did. I asked it, how much has the US taken in tariffs? Apparently it's only $200 billion that they've taken in. The number that Trump is putting out, the $17 trillion or 18 trillion, I think it was. Apparently that's not even true. Maybe it's a projection of how much we're going to intake because, yeah, the numbers that we're expecting from all these big companies moving into the United States after having all these meetings with Trump. They're saying, yeah, we're having a $600 billion investment in the United States. Things like that, right? Obviously, that should amount to something large. And it seems like that's where Trump is getting that number from, projections of how much he plans to receive as investments into the United States because of the power of tariffs. So that's something separate. Now, this also means that if the Supreme Court deems the tariffs are illegal, markets would take that in a bullish way, because that means we don't have to worry about those darn headlines of Trump is going to announce tariffs on aluminum and then Ethereum crashes like $2,000. We don't got to worry about stuff like that happening ever again, hopefully. So that's what people would expect in the short term as a good thing, and it would give us a little relief rally, which I would agree with, sure. Would it actually be good for the economy, though? The economy is going to keep on doing its thing. Overall, with or without tariffs. I think the tariffs are good overall for the United States in itself, because it does get the countries to the table. It does stop some wars like we've seen in Cambodia, Thailand. Wow, Cambodia, Thailand, am I right? Cambodia, Thailand is what I mean. So, yeah, things like that. Or was it the Philippines? No, it was India, Pakistan. Yeah, they also threatened tariffs on them to force end the war. Crazy. So there's that, and it's only $200 billion that we would have to pay back, which is not that much. It's $200 billion, but come on. Elon Musk can pay that back and it wouldn't hurt him. There was that, and then there was, what else did I ask it? Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull this up. Please let me search what I've done. Supreme Court. It said it would, if they ruled in favor of Trump's tariffs, it would be bad for Bitcoin and crypto prices. I personally don't think so. Yeah, I understand what they're coming from, because it means like, yeah, we will get those headlines where Trump announces more tariffs and more tariffs, because he's not free to do whatever he wants. He can do any tariffs that he wants, anytime, anywhere, on any country, any percentage. So that's going to scare markets and make us drop. I mean, the lowest point we hit of this year, 74,000, was because of tariffs. Let's not kid ourselves. And then markets obviously rallied when he delayed the tariffs. There's things like that is happening. We're expecting something similar over here. But come on. Short-term volatility will sell off. Crypto correlates with risk assets, but long-term has potential hedge benefits. But the current evidence, as of right now, even with tariffs kind of in action, it shows a negative impact from ongoing tariffs and legal uncertainty. And also the issue with the inflation thing that we've talked about, because we did talk about it yesterday. Inflation has been a main issue from the Fed. Why they didn't want to cut rates faster is because, there's tariffs that are currently a thing, so that might spike up inflation, and we don't want to cut rates if inflation is already on the rise, right? If they are deemed illegal, US would have to pay up to $200 billion in refunds. Trump falsely claimed the 17 to 18 trillion. It's conflating with investments. The actual tariffs that were collected was $200 billion in 2025, and that's the potential refund amount if it's ruled illegal. I did look this up as well. If they are deemed illegal, Americans would not receive the $2,000 stimulus checks. So that's going to suck for you guys. Haha. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. So that's also going to be another issue, is we're going to lose out on some of the liquidity boosts that some Americans might get that could come to the markets, right? Yeah. So there was that. I did want to comment on it, just on a side note. Whales are changing Bitcoin's price space. Nearly 50% of Bitcoin's realized cap now comes from new whale buyers. Data shows a surge in recent buyers, pointing to strong demand at current prices. Good. We don't want the price to drop any lower. Speaking of these economic giant, is that the right word? No, the rich guys, okay? Robert Kiyosaki, who, by the way, sold his Bitcoin already. Crazy. But anyways, dude, I don't even think I should read all this. He's just retelling the rich dad, poor dad mentality. You guys gotta buy now. like it was in the 2008 global financial crisis, you should be buying. And he quotes some Bible verses, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't think I'm reading all this though, but there you go. It's too much time to waste. Michael Saylor posts the Saylor Bitcoin tracker, hinting at buying more Bitcoin. He posted the chart saying green dots beget orange dots. Can we talk about why do you use light theme? But anyway, so Bitcoin will be purchased by MicroStrategy. Tomorrow we'll get the report, which would be great. I wonder how much it is. Hopefully another billion. I'm sure they got it in them. Global M2 money supply is out of control. It's up to a record $45 trillion right now. This comes as China's M1 money supply has risen to 16.5 trillion, an all-time high. China has driven the majority of global money supply growth this year. China is currently the largest producer of narrow money in the world, accounting for roughly 37% of the total. Meanwhile, the US M1 money supply, excluding savings deposits, that is up to a record $8 trillion, which represents 18% of the world's total money supply. Overall, what's happening? Global liquidity is expanding, and we can hopefully get some of that action into our meme coins. This is the chart that we've always seen of Bitcoin following M2 money supply, which we kind of saw where it hit its all-time high, 126,000. It was already decoupled pretty significantly from there, and then we just kept heading lower, which is a bit underwhelming. It was following it pretty well in the past, but not this time. It's never been this detached from global liquidity. It looks mispriced and undervalued to some people. I'd partially agree. I don't think that we're immediately going to see a huge line all the way up here to 200,000 plus, because if that happens, we're expecting Bitcoin at 250,000 plus at this time and at these prices, wherever M2 money supply is right now. I don't think that's going to happen, but the possibility of that is there. Even if it's some, it will cause a good rise for Bitcoin back up to 100,000, anything above 100,000 plus. I'm expecting that by next year, hopefully. Bitcoin's apparent demand is fading. Reason why that big separation is there is because the demand is weakening. It's true. We've seen it, and the charts indicate that as well. It's now turned red again, the Bitcoin price and apparent demand 30-day change. So negative apparent demand currently right now. So not a lot of people are interested, which is normal. At these low prices, nobody wants to buy Bitcoin. Everybody wants to buy Bitcoin when it's at 120,000. They'll be lining up at these stores to do so. Same thing as you saw in gold. Same thing will happen with Bitcoin. We also have Trump on our side with potential of lowering interest rates, which you kind of touched on. Trump said the new Federal Reserve chairman will be expected to lower interest rates immediately. New Fed chair will be Trump's puppet. I do believe so. It's probably going to be Kevin Hassett. If Bitcoin rallies to 95,000 over the holiday season, that would mean $5.8 billion in leveraged short positions liquidated. Now translate this into longs. I think it's going to be the exact same, almost. Because there's so much over leveraging in both areas. People are too overconfident. Trillions of dollars are coming on-chain with Chainlink. What are we talking about here? Derivatives? What is this 1Q? $1 quadrillion? Is that what that means? I guess so. Just goes to show that Chainlink is used for everything, honestly. And it's very, very undervalued, in my opinion. Where are we for Chainlink? $12, dude? Come on. This is a $50 asset. We're talking about it being worth $12. Okay, $30 asset. Sure. Our all-time high was $50, though. 47. Sure. Come on now. Even at the worst of the worst in 2023, we were worth like 6, 7. Oh, no. We were worth about $8. Let's just say. Dude, whoever made this meme needs to get a job. So do I. I will have a job soon. Don't worry about me. So yeah, good stuff for Chainlink. Key events this week, what to expect. All of this, by the way, is coming out on on-chain. The economic data will come out on-chain because the partnership with the U.S. labor statistics and Chainlink and Pyth, but no one cares about Pyth anymore. Especially if Chainlink is not doing well, less people will care about Pyth. But I like both. Okay, Monday we're getting October PCE inflation data. Let me fact check this in real time, because I did not see that. PCE, I don't see the letters PCE over here. Henceforth, it is a lie. I don't see it here. It might be something else, or it's for October either way. So, yeah. Tuesday, we're getting the GDP data that I do see over here. That is probably the most important thing of the next week. In my opinion, it is. Tuesday, we're also getting consumer confidence data and October new home sales data. This is all delayed data, government shutdown data from October. So we're not getting November data yet. New home sales, durable goods orders is coming out on Wednesday. I don't think that's going to bring too much volatility. The only most important day of next week, I would say, is just like the GDP data coming out on Tuesday. Thursday, stock market is closed. Merry Christmas. And Friday, what are we even doing Friday? Is that even a real day? Maybe. So yeah, that's all we could expect for that. I like it. Nothing too crazy. We should be relaxing next week. Japan's 10-year bond yield has surpassed 2008 financial crisis level. Next week is going to be really volatile? I don't think so, dude. I really don't think so. Rising rates. Yeah, it's because the rates were rising. That's what we did. We do see the 10-year bond yield on the rise, by the way, if it wasn't evident. We also have the foreign holdings of U.S. Treasuries falling $5.8 billion in October to $9.2 trillion, but they remain at the second highest level on record. People are letting go of U.S. Treasuries as well. I'm not reading the rest of these countries because no one cares. Demand for U.S. Treasuries remains strong overall, although we are seeing a slight decline. But that's fine. We can tolerate that. Another big thing that's been happening in the news since I'm running out of stuff to talk about was AmFest. This event held by, seems like Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, widow of Charlie Kirk, was hosting a lot of other conservative influencers, and Nicki Minaj, for whatever reason, she's there, which this was kind of hinted at. We did see, you know, these posts from Nicki Minaj putting a pink White House. I don't know what the pink has to do with it, but I'm guessing it's her favorite color. I don't know. Her nails are pink most of the time, I think. I don't know. I don't really notice too much woman nails. But yeah, she also was very like supportive of Trump when it comes to saving Christian people in Nigeria who are being slaughtered by the Muslims. So seems like she's moving over into conservative politics a little more, as opposed to someone like Megan Thee Stallion is what they're showing here. Remember this when she was dancing at the Kamala Harris rally? Was pretty interesting, but it was kind of weird too. Why are you twerking on stage for a Kamala Harris rally? Like, what are we doing here? Whose vote are you trying to get with that? Yeah, so there she was interviewing with Erica Kirk. Nice. This has been going on for a couple days, by the way. It wasn't just a single day event. It was a multi-day event. Tulsi Gabbard was there. I'm not going to go through what everybody was talking about, but yeah, Tucker Carlson was there too. JD Vance was there as well. What else do we got? Come on, give me like real highlights. A lot of it is Nicki Minaj. They recreated the gazebo, the tent, the booth, the Charlie Kirk assassination booth at the AmFest, whatever it is. I'm trying to see who else was important. Who is important was there. Why did I like this? What is this? Benny Johnson, Jack Posobiec brought Ginny, the Target worker who was berated for wearing a Charlie Kirk shirt. Oh, okay. I remember seeing that, that's why. What? Oh, this was last year, 2024. It seems like it's an annual thing. December 19, 2024. Charlie Kirk was there in person. Who else, man? JD Vance. Trump Jr. was also there, I'm pretty sure. A lot of other conservative influencers. Myron Gaines. Ben Shapiro was there. Who else, man? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Apparently Trump Jr. called his dad, Donald Trump, to, like, while he was giving a speech on stage, and he's like, oh, you better have a good speech, otherwise I'm gonna give you hell. Yeah. It's really not much else, just more of the same. Okay, yeah, that's all. It's really all. Good stuff overall. Okay. Yeah, pretty slow day today still. Yeah, I'm not expecting nothing too crazy for this week. I'm sorry. It's going to be boring. It's going to be a Christmas holiday week, so don't expect too much. Markets are closed on Thursday. That's confirmed. Okay, but we'll still be covering all of that stuff live while we get to it. I do have a book to upload. Dude, I still have to edit it. I don't even think I'll be able to get it out tonight. I'll try, but yeah, maybe tomorrow for sure. What am I even doing next week, dude? What am I doing next week? Maybe I'll go to church for Christmas, and I will be going for dinner with my cousins, that's for sure. So Christmas, like, day, Thursday, I'll obviously not be here. Or maybe it's the 24th, I don't even know. I don't know which day we're going, but one of those 2 days. One of the days I'll either be at church, or the other one I'll be with my cousins. But rest of the days should be normal. Oh, the 26th is Boxing Day. Might purchase a new cell phone. What do you guys reckon? And then next week, Monday, that's when work starts. But no changes to the schedule, because work ends at 4 or 5 p.m. And I'll have plenty of time to prepare for a stream, so we'll be good there. Trying to see what else is important. Trump is posting stuff. Nothing too crazy. It's a lot of endorsements, by the way, that Trump has been posting for a lot of other governors. Or something like that. I don't know, members of Congress. U.S. federal banking regulator says banks can buy, sell, and custody crypto. Yeah, we kind of knew that. I'm checking on my phone to see if I find anything more interesting, because sometimes, like, as soon as I end stream, I go to check my phone, and then I see, like, oh, I should have talked about this. Oh, I should have talked about that. Here's one, for example. Gold surging to a new all-time high. There you go. Confirmed. Up 67% this year. Let me go check on TradingView. Gold is at all-time highs. Futures market is open, so that's confirmed. Congratulations, gold. That is indeed an all-time high, is it? Is it actually? It is. I'm looking at the weekly chart. I thought this was the 4-hour chart. Yep, that's an all-time high for gold. And Bitcoin is over here. You're joking, dude. What even is this? What are we doing? Gold reaches all-time high. Yeah, that's all over my timeline now. More Thomas Massie and Pam Bondi stuff. Pam Bondi is breaking the law. Epstein survivors aren't satisfied with the Department of Justice's incomplete and redacted Epstein file disclosures, and neither am I, says Thomas Massie. So prosecute them then. The BlackRock CIO, Rick Reeder, who we've talked about, he will be interviewed at Mar-a-Lago. I thought he already was. We already talked about that. He will be interviewed at Mar-a-Lago, but he's probably one of the nominees to be the next Fed chair. Is even on the Polymarket list. Like, are people even betting on this? How do I look this up? Fed chair. Okay, I'm not even typing. Fed chair. Who will Trump nominate as Fed chair? My mouse was literally on it. Rick Reeder, yes, he is on here now. Give me the history of this. Can I see a graph? How much data do we have? Oh, we've been having this data since September, so he's been an option for a while, even in October 10. Why October 10? You know what happened on October 10? It was a very traumatizing day for all of us. This was at 17% chance that he would get nominated as next Fed chair. So he's been on the list for a while. But his odds have been decreasing until very recently, when the rumors of him being interviewed at Mar-a-Lago for the position started rising, so we'll see. Silver is also all-time highs. Daily all-time highs for silver. It's incredible. It's absolutely going to hit $70 by end of year, no doubt. So we're at $68.84. Highest we're now was $68.97, literally minutes ago. Quite literally minutes ago. Yeah, this is an all-time high, $68.97. We're about to hit $69. Very close to 70. Okay, not bad. More Ukraine drone footage. My timeline is just people dying. Borders Czar, Tom Homan. Wait, is this at the AmFest? No, this is... Yeah, this is the AmFest. Tom Homan was there. Borders Czar. What else do we got? 2026 can be a great year, says Kathy Wood. Cynthia Loomis, we talked about. She's retiring, not retiring. She's just not seeking re-election. Trying to see what else is important. Really don't see anything. Yeah, the rest of it is sports. When you start seeing sports on your timeline, you know it's over. There's no news to talk about. Silver is now worth more than a barrel of oil. Yeah, we kind of knew. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Oil is $56. It's been that way for a long time. Silver to oil ratio. Another post by the U.S. Department of Justice about Epstein. Redactions were applied to those documents when they were filed in the respective court cases back in the day. It's just more excuses as to why everything's blacked out. Okay. Did you guys see this as well on Twitter? The White House was Christmas Lo-Fi 2025 MAGA victories. Okay, bro. What are we doing here? Yeah, there's really not much else happening. I'm trying to fill up time just to see if we can get anything else to talk about. I do want to like make the streams a little longer because I do enjoy doing them. It's my only time I get to talk my mind. Or be in my own self, my own brain. Maybe I talk too much. I don't know. Liquidity is back for the first time since March 2020. Federal Reserve is injecting liquidity in the past. This has often pushed markets into risk-on mode, with stocks, crypto, and other risk assets benefiting. Let's hope. Yeah, that's all for right now, I think. I don't have anything else to discuss. Okay. So that concludes this stream, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. Thanks for subscribing. I will catch you tomorrow. Hopefully we get a big new war so that we can talk about. No, I'm kidding. I hope we don't get into any new wars. But yeah. GDP data Tuesday. Dude, I won't even be able to... No, I will be able to stream Tuesday. Tuesday, I might have it off. So Tuesday, expect to stream. We'll discuss GDP data and what that means for our meme coins. Okay. Hold on. I am interested in market cap. I don't know if this is on the rise. It doesn't show like the chart of the market cap. And I also want to check if is anything rising or dropping a lot. What am I looking for? Liquidation heat map. It's not the liquidation heat map that I'm looking for, but RSI heat map. There we go. Oh, we do have some stuff rising. Tron. Aave is dropping. Compound is dropping. I got out of Compound on time. Humanity Protocol is overbought as well, and it's on its way down. Potential short opportunity, maybe. No, it's probably like super high up right now. HUSDT. This is such a stupid project. Yeah. What do you call this chart pattern? Tron. Why is Tron rising? That's something that interests me. It's not even that much. 2% up. Come on. We've seen better. This is good. It's already in an early uptrend. I like that for Tron. And Tron is a large cap. So something must be going on with it for it to be rising this much. I'll just quickly review this on CoinMarketCap and then I'm gone. I promise I'll leave. Why are we up? Base integration via layer 0, bullish impact. So a Coinbase integration on December 19th. So that's recent. That's why we're rising. It connects Tron's stablecoin market with Coinbase's blockchain. 4.4 billion total value locked. So that seems to be the big news. They integrated with Coinbase. Good for them. With Coinbase blockchain, not Coinbase. You know what I mean? Base. That's pretty much it. Compound down, Aave down. What's going on with those? Remember when I was buying Aave? Crazy. It had such a weird price action. I got like hyper liquidated over here, but it's just been trending lower. Nothing too crazy. Do you see opportunity here? Maybe, if you really care about it. On spot, though, I wouldn't really go long on futures with this. And compound apparently is dropping, which I did also have compound not too long ago. I got out over here at the top somewhere. Maybe it was here, or maybe it was here. I think it was over here. Oh, it might have been much before that. I don't know. Let me go to the daily chart. It was definitely not one of those days. I'm sure it was over here. Was it in December? Dude, I don't even remember. Surely it was in October or something. Must have been over here. Whatever. I'm far out of it now, and it's making newer lows. So, ignoring, of course, October 10. I wouldn't touch compound still. Okay, that's it. That's all. Alright, guys, I'm leaving. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good rest of your